There's a book by C.S. Lewis, very famous author, mostly known for his children's books, The Chronicles of Narnia. But he wrote many other different religious books, philosophical books. And I don't remember if this was for a class, but I think it was. But I think it was optional reading. I think it was only on a reading list. And I chose something different. I did that for the class. And then I picked this book secondary after I had already done my report on the other book. I don't remember what the other book was. It's something like about black and white thinking, which I should probably revisit. No, I don't need to revisit that. Never mind. Scratch that. I've dissolved black and white thinking. At least I think I have. Well, totality would be, being absolute about it would suggest that there is a not absolute version. Like, if it is something, then it is not the other thing. Duality. Anyways, well, The Great Divorce is the book that I picked off the list as a secondary book that I was curious about, because I was like, oh, C.S. Lewis, like, I loved his books as a kid. The Chronicles of Narnia, I loved them. Great books. So I was like, I'm gonna check this out. And I read it, and the one thing that very much stood out to me from the book that I still remember to this day was a woman who lived life in flow. She lived in love and abundance, and she was married to a man who was bitter and angry and only focused on the negative. And they were married, and she just exuded love and light and beauty and radiance and joy, and he just was disgruntled, ungrateful, just constantly criticizing, critical of himself, self-loathing. And it wasn't even like the entire point of the book. The book was kind of like, if I remember correctly, like little snippets of viewing other people's lives after moving into the afterlife. And I think it was kind of purgatory where everyone was. But at the same time, it felt like it was still Earth. And that's what it is. Like, oh man, I lost it. Like, she was living in heaven on Earth, that woman. And her husband was living in hell on Earth. Because nothing went right in his life. He was complaining about everything. Everything was wrong. He blamed other people. He played the victim. And she's just out here living her best life. Like, she's singing and dancing and painting and just making magic, because she's just out here living and enjoying and being grateful. So yeah. And they were still like a married couple. That's what stuck out to me. I was like, so two people can be together and be in completely different realities. And that's the separation. It's not some place we're getting to. It's here. And it's how you choose to live your life. So, would you rather live like the complaining victim complex person who's angry all the time and blames everyone for his problems and nothing ever goes right in his life and he's just constantly bickering and quarreling and criticizing? Or would you prefer to live as somebody who is enjoying life, who sees the good in people, who still chooses to see the good in even someone who is spewing hate and vileness and loathing? Because she was just in her own sovereignty. So what do you choose? What do you choose? And there's no right or wrong, right? Like, you can choose to live however you want. And those were two extremes, right? Like, she was very much like light and love. He was very much darkness. So, and it's not about rejecting the darkness. It's about integrating it, accepting it, understanding it. Because maybe it wasn't the best that she was not. No, she. I don't know. I want to talk to people about this. And I'm probably getting it wrong, but this is how I remember it from the book. So, where was I going with this? Raw and unfiltered, right here. But I think it was a good example of how people can just have completely different perspectives about their life and still be together somehow. Like, you're like, why is she with this dude? But she saw the good in him, and she accepted him for who he was, and she continued being herself and living her way. So I think that's something to consider. Yeah, I don't want to project my own understanding on it, except I am, and that's okay too. Like, I'm allowed to share my perspective and for it to change mid-sentence, because that happens. So welcome to my world. I remember I did a speech class, and we had to, ouch, I just banged my elbow, had an itch. We had to do a persuasive speech over a hot button issue, and mine was flag burning. Oh my gosh. And I talked myself to one side of the argument and the other side of the argument. I was like, well, technically flag burning is freedom of speech, so it's protected under the First Amendment. It's a form of protest. And then I was like, but other people see it as, disrespecting the flag. No, I'm on the burning side. I'd let it burn. Yikes. But at the time I was like, well, actually it's a bad thing if you burn the flag, because it represents your freedoms, and burning it as a form of protest doesn't really do anything in the first place. I don't know. I don't remember what my arguments were, but like, I was arguing for it, and then like halfway through the speech I was like arguing against it, and vice versa, like flip-flopping. Yeah, I've always been able to see both sides, even in high school, even before that. And I've always chosen to see the good in people, given people the benefit of the doubt. And that got me in trouble sometimes. Well, not in trouble. Well, sometimes in trouble. And it usually was because I was trying to save someone else instead of worrying about myself. Sacrificing myself for others, because that ain't it. Yeah. I don't know where else this message is going to go. I think this is the end. Thank you for sticking around this long. Not sure what this channel is going to be yet. I'm excited for it, and I'm finally speaking my truth and sharing the real me. So here you are. It's me, Chelsea, on the State of Conch channel. Yeah, I need to come up with a cool sign-off. Wonder what that'll be. It'll come to me. Or maybe I'll never have one. That's cool too. All right. Into the depths. Is that the sign-off? Anyways, have a good night. Bye.